with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, laws of the state of New Jersey. The Borough Clerk has prepared a schedule of the meetings of the governing body of the Borough of Kenilworth for the year 2021. The Borough Clerk has posted a true copy of this schedule on the bulletin board located at the front entrance of Borough Hall, and has mailed true copies of this schedule to the local source, the Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and is maintaining a copy of this schedule in her office during the year 2021. Accordingly, the notice requirements, 2022, sorry, typo. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Cesari?
Here.
Councilman David?
Here.
Councilman Finestrella?
Here.
Councilman Pence?
Here.
Councilman Puglisi is absent. Councilman Zimmerman?
Here.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and council meeting and work sessions of June 1st, 2022?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A letter was received from the Department of Community Affairs advising the borough's late notice of the introduction of their 2022 budget. And a letter was received from the fire department, William Kruger appointing probationary firefighter and EMT. And the department reports were received for June from all departments.
Is there a motion to accept communications and reports?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I know Councilman Puglisi is not here this evening, but we will be introducing the budget.
I
Okay.
have his report.
Okay, great.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. The 2022 budget was once again a difficult task. I would like to start by thanking my fellow Finance Committee members, Councilman Mark David and Joe Finestrella. Next, I would like to thank all the department heads for working with the Finance Committee to deliver a lean budget spending plan that gives the departments what is needed to successfully run their departments and without any loss of service. Finally, I would like to thank Lisa Wood and Ken Blum for their hard work and dedication putting the 2022 budget together. The revenue side of the budget is still a battle for Kenilworth. We lost digital revenues of about $115,000 again in 2022. On a positive note, we received the first increase in state aid in about 12 years of $51,965. It is nowhere near what was originally expected when talk started for additional state aid, but something is better than nothing. We're anticipating $2 million in surplus again this year. We decided not to increase the surplus due to the impact coming with the Merck tax appeal, estimated to be about $1,336,750. We're still working with the CFO, assessor, auditors, and tax appeal attorney to try and spread this out over 3 years with a new law passed in January of this year. On the appropriations side, we are only increasing the budget amount by about 1%, or $179,917.05. There is no loss of any service in the 2022 budget. This is a great feat considering the rising cost of everyday items we are still facing. We are running a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 days a year operation. Municipal tax increase, including the library, for the average house assessed at $183,400 is $104.36. We will continue to work with the department heads to find ways to increase revenues and reduce costs as we face many more challenges in 2023. At this point, I would like to turn over the 2022 budget discussion to the CFO, Ken Blum.
You're up, Ken.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody. Once again, yes, I do want to thank all the department heads. It's a collaborative effort that we need to do to try and get each department what they need to successfully run their departments and provide your constituents with the best services we possibly can. for the lowest tax impact. We are at $104.36. We did have a shortfall in revenues once again. Those revenues are alcohol beverage licenses, other licenses, fees and permits, was one of the biggest hits at about $90,000. Court fines and costs are down again. They were down about $11,500. Those are your two biggest ones. It was nice that we finally did see an increase in state aid, although nowhere near what they originally thought when the S-330 bill came out, but something is better than nothing. For the most part, that's where we stand. Like I said, there was no loss of services. We did try and increase certain areas. Trees, I know Michael was looking to get much more money. We were able to give him an additional $15,000 in this year's budget. So it's not going to solve all the problems, but we're trying to knock away at each thing.
Great job on the budget.
So that's where we stand right now, but I know we're just getting this going, but we do have to start thinking about next year, because next year is your biggest.
I have a question. How does the tax appeal, so obviously this revenue is not going to be coming into the borough.
Mhm.
So how is that going to affect the residents this year?
This year, you won't really see it until we close out the books for this year. What happens is
So you're
that
expecting a shortfall then at the end of the year?
it's a guessing game right now. We're trying to monitor collections, and we hope they stay up where they are.
Okay.
But you're talking $1,337,000. That's going to
Right.
be a direct hit to us.
Right,
Next year, it's going to be shared with the Board of Ed, the
Right.
county,
Right.
and us. But that's why we're trying to see if there's any way where we can stretch this over that new law.
Right.
And then it would be,
yeah, that would be
it's like a
ideal.
5% interest rate, but what you have to pay in interest, it would
Right.
definitely be worth our while. So
Sure.
we can try and regenerate, because we are using the $2 million in surplus. And that's another reason why the committee didn't want to use anymore. It would have helped to lower taxes, obviously, but we
Right.
need something to try and offset what's going to happen there. So that's
Right.
why next year is even more of a concern than this year technically, because you have that
That's the
problem.
hit, right,
And
right.
you also have the American Rescue Plan money, that's $428,000.
Mhm.
That goes away next year.
Okay,
So you're looking
next
at
year's gonna be-
$800,000 loss in revenue right now before we do anything with the budget for next year.
okay.
So,
All right, thank you.
okay, sorry for the bad news.
Yep, well. Okay, Department of Public Works, Councilman David.
Thank you, Mayor. DPW continues to address emergency road repairs, weather permitting. Remind residents that DPW facility is open on the first Saturday of each month for recycling drop-off. The next date will be August 6th. DPW accepts recycling, e-waste, motor oil, and scrap metal. Also Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. As far as the Lewis Wood Memorial Park has been closed for upgrades, they have completed phase 1, which included building repairs and tree removal. Phase 2 has been partially completed, which consists of grading of the area. Unfortunately, the new tree planting and milling and paving of the basketball court cannot be completed until public service relocates an electrical service. He will let us know when everything's been completed. Until then, that area is closed off, the ball field remains open. Tree work continues for 2022. Superintendent would like to recognize Mr. Richard Loxley, DPW Employee of the Month for June 2022. Mr. Loxley voluntarily cut his vacation time short to assist the department. We would also like to recognize Manuel Nieto for 6 years of service and Joe Santangelo for 2 years of service as of June 2022. DPW cleaned landscaped the property at 108 North Michigan Avenue for a total cost of $1,435. Just an update on the direct waste, which was the bulk waste collection, June 13th,
for the June 24th, both sides, the borough paid $41,500 for these services. 210.10 tons of bulk waste was dropped off at Waste Management for a total cost of $23,271.16. Reminder residents, the fall collection dates are October 17th for the north side, October 24th for the south side. Also, I was advised that people were observing other people, guessing they were from out of town, driving up and leaving items at the curb. So that's going on. If we can get their drivers, the license plates or anything, we can turn them over to the police, issue a ticket, hopefully. But, so that's been going on. So there are people driving through, dropping off their garbage, you can't wait. Because it's a free pickup. So, that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman David. Department of Public Safety, Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just on the tail end of the Department of Public Works, I'd like to say kudos to our superintendent and Department of Public Works on addressing the issue that some citizens have brought up concerning the flags on the boulevard facing downward, bent. I know Superintendent Calixto had, they were busy doing a lot of things at one time, but before the 4th of July, they were able to condense them into the center and get them all facing upright, replace some of them with new flags. I know they ordered some new flags, and it looked great for our fireworks display and the 4th of July, as always. Good job. Also, on the other end, before I get into the public safety angle, the Kenilworth PBA has changed their annual bash to September 17th now, with the time to be determined. They have not set a time yet. They're not going to have a charity baseball or softball game prior to it this year, but they're going to focus on donating the proceeds that they make to a charity. The charity hasn't been finalized yet.
Make-A-Wish, New Jersey.
He told me it wasn't finalized though. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the chief just said it was finalized. It's going to be Make-A-Wish Foundation for New Jersey. That's what the proceeds are going to be. It's going to be $25 for a T-shirt, which is your ticket of admission, and they will be sold at the carnival in August, at the Fireman's Carnival every night, and also, if you're unable to get there, you could stop into the main desk at police headquarters and leave your name and contact number, and, excuse me, Officer Diltz, who's the PBA president, will get back to you and arrange for your purchase of a T-shirt for admission. Excuse me. Also, on August 2nd is going to be our National Night Out this year again. The chief informed me it's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. right here in the Borough lot at South 23rd Street. And it's open to all municipal residents. Please come out, meet the police officers. Is the fire department going to be there again?
Fire department will be there, some county agencies, we'll have bouncy house, free ice cream.
So it's going to be another good event like last year. Please come out and meet your officers, your firemen, and some county officials, law enforcement officials. For the month of June, the Kenilworth Police Department answered 1,103 calls for service and 165 911 calls. There was a total of 182 and a half hours of overtime for the month. The majority of overtime was due to the manpower needed to safely coordinate the wake and funeral for our own Tony Saragusa, which was held on June 28th and 29th here in Kenilworth. Excuse me, there was a total of 60 hours of training and 145 traffic summonses issued for the month of June. And the Kenilworth Police Department also ran their annual Junior Police Academy here in the borough from Monday, June 27th through Friday, July 1st. And according to Chief Seuss, this is one of the biggest priorities and an excellent chance to create relationships with borough youths. This year was an all-time high of 57 locals youths participated in a week of instruction, including simulation of firearms, high-risk motor vehicle stops. They had the North Star State Police helicopter land, drone training. They did some work with Customs and Border Patrol, training at Newark Airport, and intense blocks of instruction by retired Irvington Sergeant Ken Hogan, who's a member of the Union County Prosecutor's Office. He's also very proud of Sergeants Michael Scaniello, Ed Pastor, and Sean Caverick, and Detective Kernan and Picton, along with Officer Ficino, who all contributed their hard work and dedication and effort in making this year's Youth Academy the best ever. Also, on Tuesday, the 28th, and Wednesday, the 29th, like I previously stated, the Kenilworth Police Department coordinated the wake and funeral for Tony Saragusa at St. Teresa's Church on Washington Avenue. Approximately 5,000 people showed up for the wake and 1,000 people for the funeral. The Kenilworth Police Department received assistance from the Union County Sheriff's Department, Roselle Park Police Department, Linden Police Department, the Kenilworth DPW, the Kenilworth Fire and Rescue, and Jersey Landscaping, who I know provided drinks and refreshments for the long line on a brutally hot day. The police department actually canceled time off and road jobs and recalled all personnel to duty that day. And Chief Seuss is proud of the professionalism, the hard work and effort put forth by his officers during what was a difficult and emotional time for everyone involved, including myself. Also on June 23rd, the United States Supreme Court struck down the New York's restrictions on the right to carry a concealed firearm. I know it's been a debatable issue in New Jersey and nationwide for a long time. New York's right to carry restrictions were very similar to New Jersey's, and we have some of the strictest gun laws and carry laws in the nation. The Kenilworth Police Department has to pivot quickly to adjust to the changing landscape. Last year, New Jersey processed 575 applications for a permit to carry. That's statewide, which only 280 were approved. This year, the New Jersey State Police are expecting 200,000 to 250,000 applications for permit to carry. So local police departments will be overwhelmed with applications and background investigations. Luckily, here in Kenilworth, we have a detective who works very hard and almost exclusively doing firearms applications and permits. So this ruling will actually increase our workload tremendously in our detective bureau. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you to Tony Gallerano, our borough engineer. I received, along with the mayor and council, a complaint from a resident at South Michigan Avenue in Monmouth concerning traffic, road conditions. I'm going to speak to Chief Seuss when I have the opportunity about some of the issues they have with South Michigan Avenue. But I know Tony did follow up. I sent him an email asking him for his assistance to reach out to her. And he spoke with her today, and he said that he had a good conversation with her, and she seemed satisfied, and he was able to answer some of the questions that, unfortunately, I wasn't able to answer with her. So thank you, Tony, for your assistance on that. Thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Zimmerman. Planning and zoning, Councilman Fenestrella.
Thank you, Mayor. The month of June, the construction department took in a total of $15,681. Broken down, that comes to building fees of $12,101, trust state fees of $1,105, and miscellaneous fees of $2,475. This week, there was supposed to be a planning zoning meeting tomorrow, but that has been canceled, no applications, and there will not be a meeting in August either, so the next planning and zoning meeting scheduled for September 8th at 6:30 work session, 7 p.m. meeting. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Recreation and Fire, Councilman Pence.
Thank you, Mayor. I did not receive a fire report, and as far as the recreation goes, I need an update from Mr. Gallerano regarding the Mario Park.
Yeah, I can do that now. If you want to wait and do it in my report.
I do your report, that's fine.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Health, Education, and Human Services, Councilwoman Cesari.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have many reports. All I have really is the library, and it's only there are events that are happening during the summer. Everything's quiet. The Board of Health is on They're on the summer recess. So is the library, but they are having a special meeting. I believe it's on August 4th. But they wanted me to just pass along what's available for the summer. Got the same, the Arnie's on July 7th, 14th, and 21st at 2 p.m. July 19th, the Paper Pals, 2 to 4 p.m. July 20th is Chair Yoga at 11 a.m. July 27th, Senior Lifestyle Series on Diabetes will be held at 11 a.m. They have children programming, they have all children's programs that are required to be registered by the library because there is limited space and they would like it to be done 1 week in advance if possible. July 7th, a patriotic celebration with innovative, we passed July 7th, okay, sorry. And 14th to the 28th, there's some workshops for the Mad Science Workshop. The 18th, families can meet penguins from Jenkinson's Aquarium. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do. They're having it at the library. And various other things. On the 21st, they're having Ways of Water and rhythm dances. July 25th and 26th is Laser Science Show. And the 26th is Boogie Woogie Baby. And that's about it for the library. Thank you. And before I stop talking, I want to pull number 182 off the agenda.
Okay, that's being pulled, so,
Are you making a motion on that?
yeah. No, I don't think she needs to make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to pull it off.
No, you don't need a motion, you can just pull it, it'll be
Okay.
voted on separately.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay, so
Figured.
excluding Resolution 182, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Need a second? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you can go ahead. Well, I think we're going to finish the reports and then we'll have, actually, go ahead. We'll do them and then sorry, Tony.
Resolution 173 to 182 to
181
181 are listed on the consent agenda and will be approved by one motion. All items will be recorded individually and full in the minutes. Councilwoman Cesari?
No.
No, you're voting on the consent agenda.
Oh, okay.
She's going to do 182
Sorry.
separate.
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi is absent, and Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do the vote for Resolution 182.
Resolution 182. We need a motion. Motion to approve Resolution 182.
Mhm.
Can you introduce the resolution as to what it is?
Right.
It's a part-time senior program director in the senior center.
Okay. Should go right into the vote? Yep. vote.
Introduced by someone in the second.
Okay, I don't know that we need to do that. It's a consideration.
It's a roll call.
No, you have to
Right,
do
it's
a
a
roll
roll
call.
call, right, yeah.
Councilwoman Cesari?
No.
Councilman David?
No.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi is absent, and Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Borough Engineer, Tony Gallerano.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a couple of things I want to go over, but first, I just want to talk about, I think might be a good opportunity for the borough. Every 2 years, the federal government funds what they call TAP grants, which stands for Transportation Alternatives Program. This grant is it's funded by the federal government, but it's administered through the local state aid office, which is under the Department of Transportation, under DOT. And what this grant is kind of what the name implies. It's for projects that don't fall under like your typical transportation, like roads, bridges, and things like that. So some of the things that it includes are like scenic trails, converting old railroad to trails, what they call rail to trails, streetscaping, rehabilitating historic transportation structures. It's a couple of things like that, but they're like these things that are really like way off of what would be like typical like your transportation. The last 3 rounds, we tried to get streetscaping approved for the boulevard, and 3 times we didn't see any money. So
Change it up.
this is like a competitive grant or a selective grant, so it's not like your state aid where everybody gets a piece. This is like selective, so only a small percentage of towns actually see the money. So I did some asking around off the record to find out like why aren't we getting any money, right? We did 3 rounds, and what I'm told off the record through the grapevine is that they really don't like the front streetscaping, or it's just kind of replacing sidewalks, because their feeling is that it should be part of your regular maintenance program. So they figured, why should we be using grant money for something that should be kind of regular maintenance? So I look to see what other areas we think that money could be used in the borough. So, as you know, there is a abandoned railroad spur that runs from Route 22, kind of follows the golf course along Michigan Avenue, goes across the boulevard, parallels Market Street, continues into Roselle Park. So we're thinking that's a perfect rails to trails project, right? Because it's things that it falls right in line with what the grant permits. It's what I
And
understand.
it does cross the East Coast Greenway as well, which makes it really attractive.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. So I just quickly threw together a display, just show what I'm talking about. To the right side is the boulevard. You got Michigan Avenue running along the bottom, the golf course at the top. And the red line, what I think would be a good phase 1, which would extend from the boulevard and continue down and connect to the trail that goes into
East Coast Greenway.
Yeah, so kind of connects the boulevard to the park. That's one of the things that they do like too, is connectivity, when you're connecting different components in your community. So in this case, we'd be connecting the boulevard to the park, and they like to have this continuous walking trails and things like that. Kind of like, if anyone's familiar with Patriots Path in Morris County, it's a whole network of trails that connects different towns. This project's been done in Middlesex County very successfully,
Yes.
Monmouth County very successfully. So we put together an estimate. The grant, the minimum amount you can request is $150,000, the maximum is $1 million. To do that stretch, I'd say what I would call a phase 1, is almost 3,900 linear feet, and we estimated that can be done for $708,000, which is probably a good number to ask for, because you're not really asking for the max and
Right.
fall somewhere in the middle. It's not a matching grant, so it's fully funded. So if you get an award, there's no match. They do encourage towns to contribute some of their own funds. It's not mandatory, and it's not something you have to decide now. This isn't due till November, so we have time to work on it. So
I
that's
would love to
something.
move forward with this
Yeah, I was saying if there's something
grant
we want to do,
opportunity.
we can.
It would be so amazing for the community to have that recreation space.
Yeah, I think it would be great. I think it would be great for the community. And-
Everyone agree?
Yeah, I just have 2 questions for you, Tony. One, has that property defaulted to the borough?
No.
No,
It's-
that would be the first step. We would have to go,
Mhm.
they have to contact DOT and see if they would allow this. Usually what they do is they do like a long-term lease. They don't like
Right.
to turn over property, but they would do like a 99-year lease for $1, whatever, something like that. And they would probably have some clause that if they ever needed to reinstate that railroad spur, they probably would take it back. I don't see that ever happening,
Right.
ever in.
Unless they want to build a bridge over Route 22.
Yeah, right, or something like that. It would never happen, so.
I think they've gone bankrupt, the rail spur itself, but I don't know if they would ever sell it to somebody else, is my concern.
I don't think so. Did we have some conversations in the past with them about trying to take it over? I think they were.
I'm under the impression that the DOT is in favor and likes this idea, based on the conversations and dialogue that I had with them in the past about this project.
Yeah, it's something they do like, and remember,
Yeah.
DOT is also administering the grant.
Right.
Right.
They own it
Right.
right away, so I
Right.
think I kind of think it's a no-brainer to get
Right.
them on board. But if everybody is interested, we can start that dialogue with them.
I would love you to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And just another quick question on that location. Would there be a diversion to Market Street for the traffic light since that's a busy spot? Or would there be another hawk signal that we would put in there, which is an expense that the county would have to
Well, we're
absorb?
just looking at phase 1 now, so that would start over there. It would start on the boulevard by the,
Right.
sort of behind the liquor store.
But I'm saying, like, is it worth asking for that now?
Well, you thinking could there be increased foot traffic going across Michigan?
Well, no, across the boulevard, from one side to the other.
It's-
Oh, you think we get.
From Acme across to that strip mall, behind it, where that path is.
I think
Yeah, I mean, we
that,
could
that second
look-
phase is a lot more difficult to obtain because it's encroached much heavier than this property. So that would need to be addressed first before any hawk lights or, that's gonna be a much harder connection. Businesses have literally taken it over, I mean, obviously illegally, but even up until putting fences over it and things like that. So
I mean, Rosal Park, some people have put sheds on that property too,
a
and,
shed is an easy thing to move, but,
right.
so for this, I think getting phase 1 done would really motivate a lot of people to see this progress, and this bike trail's great, and then we can take the phase 2 into Roselle Park and address all those concerns that you have at that time. I think taking this in a piecemeal is important, that little bites, and property has been cleared of the encroachment. And it's great because if you've ever walked it, it's really beautiful. It hugs the golf course, there's deer, a lot of wildlife, believe it or not, and it's actually quite peaceful place. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we could do on the boulevards, create like some signage and just divert.
Make it like a hard dead end.
Yeah, make it divert them to the traffic light so they're not
Right.
trying to cross. If they-
That's my concern.
There is a
Somebody
traffic
trying-
light right
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
think we can
concern,
done relatively.
is the
well.
safety angle of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
of course.
Okay, so we'll.
Great.
Start that dialogue
Good.
with DOT.
Okay, excellent.
Secondly, we just have on the agenda, we took the bids for phase 4 of the boulevard sidewalks, and we did get, I think we received 4 bids. They ranged from $89,999 to $158,181. The low bidder is AA Burns. You may remember they did the first and third phases, which we call the good phases of the
Yes.
project that came out to our
Right.
ranking. So it's well within budget, so we're making a recommendation to award it to AA Burns.
Great.
For phase 4. With respect to the Mario Park, our plan is to have a kickoff meeting next week. Myself, DPW Director, Parks and Recreation Director, just to start determining how we're going to start shutting down the park to start the construction. Because that's going to have to be fenced. People have to know that there's going to be this work going on. So, they're planning on starting soon. We do have their bonds. They have to sign the contract. So we're at a point where we want to start coordinating how we're going to start transitioning the park into a construction site. And then lastly, as you know, there was the sewer issue on North 7th Street. We went in and started doing exploratory digging. We found that basically the entire line between the 2 manholes was in bad shape. We found several issues. We found a lot of root intrusion. But I think the main issue is the way they did the lateral connection. So back years ago, they would do like a vertical riser on top of the pipe, on top of the sewer main, and then bring in the laterals and then drop vertically. And they would encase that whole thing in concrete. We found that there was excessive amounts of concrete poured on top of these laterals. And it just seemed like everywhere there was this large amount of concrete, it was basically compressing the pipe, causing separations, the joints are opening. So we basically had to replace basically the whole length between those two manholes. So it turned into a bigger job than we'd expected, but
Are the residents back in their house?
Yes, I believe they are.
Excellent.
Yeah, they were reconnected, and but yeah, it was a mess. The streets still kind of a mess. They have to come back and fix the pavement. Fortunately, that is on the list to be paved for next year. So you know so there'll be a temporary fix now, and then next year that'll be completely resurfaced. So
Okay,
that's all I
Great.
have.
excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney?
Nothing from here.
Okay. Move into the ordinance.
We have one ordinance this evening, 2022-10, an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the Borough of Kenilworth providing for a cap ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank to 2022.
Okay, the purpose of this ordinance allows the borough to increase their budget up to 2.5% or 3.5%, or bank 1.5%. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance 2022-10 for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi is absent, and Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
We have Resolution 183, introducing the 2022 Kenilworth Municipal Proposed Budget.
Is there a motion to approve the 2022 proposed municipal budget for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
A copy of this resolution will be published in the July 28, 2022 edition of the local source. The second reading and adoption will take place at the next council meeting on August 17, 2022, at which time the public may comment. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi is absent, and Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth? Please come forward and state your name and address. Okay. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the meeting for public discussion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, does anyone have anything else to say for the good and welfare of the borough? If there's nothing else to be brought before the council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion. Second.
All in favor? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Irene.